stillness holds the breath between what I have seen and all unseen. Beauty is not a thing to find. It waits beneath a quiet mind. In every doubt, a thread of light. In every fall, a softer height. You cannot chase what never runs, but in the pause it softly comes. Beauty is not a shape, a name. It's just the air before the flame. I thought I knew what made things shine, but now I see the shape was mine, not made to last or held too tight. It only comes in morning light. Beauty is not a line of hue. It's every shade that passes through. And if I try to make it stay, it fades again and walks away. Beauty is not a thing to hold. It lives in you when you let go. Just the air before the bloom. No names given, no shape yet shown. Becoming beauty, not born but grown from quiet ache I've never known. A flicker soft inside my chest. It wasn't loud, but never left. The warmth I feel was once unnamed, a silent seed in morning rain. Becoming beauty, no need to prove ghost became the light. The fear I held now folds to flight. Each missing part has made me whole. The cracks were soft and made of gold, becoming beauty, no final line, a growing hush, a shifting sign, not perfect clear, but never wrong. I am the space where I belong, becoming beauty, not born but grown from quiet ache. I've always known. This is a beautiful hour when the sun just sighs and the light lets go of the edges of the sky. Everything breathes in the hush, and even shadows seem kind. You said nothing, but I felt you in the way the gold touched the glass, like we were held by something that didn't ask. No words were needed, just the slow dimming, a moment to hold, to ever be named. The wind moved slow, like it was listening. This is a beautiful hour where colors fall asleep and the world steps back to quietly keep every fading second like a secret not to speak. The sky was white, but it felt close, like it knew what we wouldn't say. I stayed quiet, but I didn't look away. It didn't need more than that softest scent, a golden hush we couldn't invent. We just were there, and that was enough. This is the beautiful hour when the world goes still and the sky forgets what time will kill. It holds the silence so we don't have to. I don't remember what came after, only that moment held me so soft. I wish I could stay in that color. This is a beautiful hour when the sun just sighs and the light lets go of of the edges of the sky. Everything breathes in hush, and even shadows seem kind. This is where beauty rests, not in trying, not in proving, but in simply being and knowing that's enough. Where I don't have to sparkle or explain or show up perfect, and still I feel seen, not for what I do, but for the quiet way I breathe and exist and hope. And maybe that's the real kind, beautiful. I came here without plans, but something about this stillness started making room inside me. Like all the pieces I'd scattered came back softly, not because they were forced, but because something safe said, you can be whole here. And I believed it a little more each breath. There are no rules here, no mirrors, no voices telling me how to be, just a hush that says you are. And somehow that's louder than all the noise I left behind, a kindness that doesn't push but gently surrounds. And I find myself smiling for no reason at all. This is where beauty rests, not in the grand or the glowing, but in the ordinary moments that feel like returning. A space where I don't shrink to fit, but expand into someone I recognize. And I like her, quiet, unsure, but here I've been in places that ask me to shine, but this one reminds me I already do. Not always loudly, not always visibly, but in the way I keep showing up to feel something real. And suddenly that feels like strength, a suddenliness that chooses to stay open. Sometimes beauty isn't about what catches the eye, but what catches the heart when it's tired. The way a moment holds you before you know you need it, and the peace that says you don't have to be more, you just have to be. And I think that's enough today. This is where beauty rests, not because it asks for attention, but because it offers presence so gently you almost miss it. And that's the kind of quiet I wanna live in, where love doesn't shout, it simply stays. I used to think I had to earn peace, but here I'm just allowed to feel it. beauty rests in the calm. I didn't know how much I missed in the stillness that feels like home. In the way I begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, I've always been beautiful too. This is where we rest, not to escape but to be, not to speak but to stay side by side, without needing to explain why we're quiet, because our silence has always been kind. And in this hush there's a warmth that tells me I'm understood, just by being here with you. We didn't start with promises or plans, just moments shared without keeping score. You didn't ask me to be anything more, and somehow that made me want to be honest, not louder, not stronger, just true. You saw me when I wasn't even looking. We don't say always or forever, but I feel it in the way your presence stays when the world is too fast, too much. You are my quiet place, not to fix me, not to teach me, just to be the friend who doesn't leave. This is where we rest together, even apart, not needing to talk to feel close, not needing to change to feel accepted. We've never rushed to define this, and maybe that's why it feels like peace, because nothing here is forced. There are days we don't speak at all, but you're still the one I'd call if I needed. Not because I expect anything, but because you're the one who sees me, not for what I do or say, but for who I become when I'm not afraid. Your laughter doesn't demand mine, and your silence doesn't make me worry. With you, space feels safe. With you, time feels soft. You are a friend I can grow near to, without losing the shape of who I am. This is where we rest, where friendship lives in the quiet moments, not in celebrations or declarations, but in the steady presence that never breaks. You don't hold me, you don't pull me, you just stay. And that is everything. I used to think friendship had to prove itself, but you've shown me it just has to show up consistently, softly, without applause. You taught me the power of being, and now I carry that listen with me like a thread that ties me to the calm we share. This is where we rest, where love doesn't rush and closeness doesn't fade, where I can be quiet and still feel heard, where your eyes meet mine with nothing to fix, only to hold what is already whole. Because somehow together we make beautiful sense. There's a grace inside me that doesn't ask to be noticed. It waits, it listens, it stays, not loud, not shining, but real. Like the soft light that fills a room without trying, or the warmth of hands held in silence. And I think maybe that's the kind of strong I wanna be. I used to chase loud approval, believing I had to earn the right to be seen. But grace never ran like that. It stayed with me even when I felt small, and it whispered in my quietest moments. You're enough not because of what you do, but because of who you are. It isn't perfect or polished. Sometimes it trembles, sometimes it hides, but it never leaves. It reminds me I can be kind without agreement and whole, even when I feel undone. There's a grace inside me that breathes when I'm still, that forgives me before I ask, that softens my sharp edges and carries me gently when I don't know how to move. This isn't weakness, it's sacred softness. I've seen people rush to fill silence, but grace knows how to wait. It trusts the space between words and teaches me that some of the bravest things are done quietly without fanfare, like staying soft in a world that asks you to harden. It doesn't seek approval, it offers presence. It doesn't fix me, it reminds me that I'm already worth staying with, and I'm learning to believe it. to become something, but grace says you already are. And in that space I find a stillness that isn't empty but full of truth. It tells me I don't have to prove my beauty, only trust the way it lives in me. There's a grace inside me, and now I see it in others too, in the ones who pause, who notice, who stay, in the ones who soften instead of shout. Maybe we all carry it, this quiet, beautiful thing that connects us. Beauty all around me, in the quiet corners of the day, in the way the light drapes across the floor, how the leaves shift without sound, in faces I pass, unaware of how soft they are. Everything speaks in color, in stillness, in kindness, and I feel held by it all without needing to hold back. I used to miss the simple things, searching for meaning in noise and movement, but now I see the curve of a shadow, the hum of morning light on glass, and I feel full, not with answers, but with a sense that I belong inside this gentle moment. There's no fanfare in beauty, it doesn't need one. It shows up in the pause before a smile, in the rhythm of breathing beside someone you trust, and in the warmth that lingers after nothing is said. Beauty doesn't perform, it remains. Beauty all around me, I don't have to chase it. It's in the still water, the open sky, the space between words, in the sound of a window being opened, in the pattern of footsteps returning home. Everything hums with a soft kind of joy, and I remember I'm not separate from any of it. No longer trying to decorate my life with approval, I find more wonder in the way a branch curves toward the sun, in the quiet sound of fabric moving as I walk, in a glance that lingers just long enough. These are the things that stay with me long after the world asks me to move on. Beauty doesn't need permission to enter, it's already here, already unfolding to be captured, only noticed. And when I do, I soften like a petal opening in warmth without even you realizing it. Beauty all around me, not loud, not dazzling, not staged, but real in its softness, steady in its presence. I walk through it like walking through a memory, except this one is now, and I am inside it, and I am grateful without needing a reason. I won't ask beauty to stay, it's not mine to hold, but I will welcome it each time it returns, not as a gift, but as something that was always here. And when I forget, I'll look again, not for more, but for what already surrounds me, quiet and certain and whole. Beauty all around me, in the slow turning of time, in the patience of seasons, in the way my own breath joins the air. I do not own this beauty, but I live within it, and that is more than enough. The beauty in your eyes is not something you speak, but something I feel when you look at me. It holds the stillness of mornings and the promise of quiet days. It says you are safe here without making a sound. And every time I meet your gaze, I remember what love can be. Soft, unwavering and whole. When the world moves too fast, your eyes remain calm. They don't demand, they don't distract, they simply stay, like the sun resting through the window. And I, who often search for signs, find everything in them, a kind of knowing that words cannot carry, just the presence of being seen, truly seen. I wonder if you know how much peace lives in your eyes, how they gather light without trying, how they ask nothing but give everything, like the silence that understands, or a hand reaching without reason. They give me back to myself. The beauty in your eyes is where I slow down, where I breathe without guarding, where I listen not to words but to the way you see. And I realize nothing has to be said to be understood. Your gaze holds the shape of home, a place I never knew I needed until you. I've watched your eyes when you laugh, when you sleep, when you worry, and each time they carry the same truth, that love is not loud, it's steady. And even in fear or fatigue, they never stop reflecting light. You remind me that being soft is not being small, but but being brave in a different way. Your eyes are not mirrors, they don't just show me, they hold me like a memory I haven't yet made, like a song I almost remember. They are more than windows, they are the very thing that keeps me open. The beauty in your eyes doesn't change when I falter, it doesn't dim when I turn away, it stays patient and shining like the moon waiting on a cloudy night. And I know now I am loved in a way that doesn't depend on who I am trying to be. There will be days when words fail us, but if I can still find your eyes, then I will always find my way back to gentleness, to trust, to the quiet truth we've made. In those eyes lives everything I ever hoped was real, and everything I never thought I deserved. The beauty in your eyes, it's why I'm still here, why I keep choosing softness, why I believe in what can't be proven. Because in your eyes I see grace, I see home, I see the kind of love that makes the world worth standing. I see only beauty in the way the light filters through, in the shape of dust caught midair, and how laughter bends the space around it, in moments that ask for nothing but presence. There is no need to explain or defend, just to notice and be quietly filled. Because I've stopped measuring it by noise. Now I watch how silence moves between trees, how a glance from someone kind can steady a day, and how softness doesn't mean weakness, but a kind of strength that doesn't need armor. To see what was broken first, but now my eyes linger on what's holding together, the kindness in small things, the courage in slowing down, and the way beauty stays when I pay attention, like it always wanted to be seen. I see only beauty, not because there is nothing else, but because I choose what to carry, and beauty fits gently in my hands. It's the sound of shoes on a quiet floor, lives without expectation. I don't need everything to be perfect, to feel surrounded by wonder. A crease in a shirt can be a line of story. A chipped cup can hold stillness just the same. My eyes have learned to listen, and what they hear is always soft. Beauty is not a prize, not a rare guest. It's the familiar that's been waiting. The overlooked, the quiet, the honest. It walks beside me without needing praise. And in that quiet walking, I remember I'm not alone. I see only beauty, even when the sky is gray, even when the day forgets to shine. Because beauty doesn't leave, it just changes clothes. And my heart has learned its shapes. I don't look for what's missing, I look for what's already here. There's no secret to this seeing, just a willingness to pause and let the world reveal its soft corners. A kind word, a still morning, a room full of silence. They speak without sound, and they remind me beauty was never far. I see only beauty in the mirror that forgives, in the photo that remembers, in the breath that slows to notice. This is not a trick of light or mind, it is the way I've chosen to live, and I live gently because I see beauty. I want to be beautiful like the sea, not for how it shines, but how it holds, how it welcomes every river, how it stays no matter the storm, how it whispers to the shore and still remembers its depth. I watch the sea listen without speaking, cradle sunlight without keeping it, offer space to every drifting thing, never asking to be thanked, just being vast and kind and steady. And I wonder, could I be like that too? I'm learning the art of not needing praise, of being gentle even when unseen, of letting emotions pass like waves without turning things again and again, without bitterness, without pride. And I want to become that kind of returning, gentle, inevitable, and full. I wanna be beautiful like the sea, to hold without clutching, to reflect without losing, to deepen with time, not harden, to know my shape and still be fluid, to be a place where love finds room. I had to soften to hold beauty, not in my hands but in my heart. It doesn't sit in glass or stone, but lingers in breath and pause. I used to grip too tightly, but beauty only lands where it's safe. There's a way to touch without taking, to see without naming, to witness something fragile and not press it into permanence. This is how beauty comes, quiet, wild and free. I was once all angles and edges, bracing for every blow, but the world responded not with sharpness, but with softness I didn't understand, until I began to let go and feel myself unfold. I had to be soft enough to hold beauty, not capture it, but make room, like the way light falls into open palms, or how silence fills a waiting room. It is not mine to keep, but mine to cherish when it visits. When I stopped chasing, beauty started to stay in quiet meals, in slow walks, in someone's eyes, not asking for anything, in the stillness after tears, where something sacred lingers. I'm not soft because I'm weak, but because I've learned what strength is. It's not walls, not weapons, not winning. It's being able to stay open when the world closes in, and still feel the light. I had to be soft enough to hold beauty, to not define but let it be, to not interrupt its language, but listen until I understood. Beauty does not ask for control, only for company. I am becoming that kind of place, a shoreline that waits, not waves, a room with no locks, a gaze that doesn't demand space, just welcome, just a softness that says you can stay. I had to be soft enough to hold beauty, not to fix it, but to feel it, not to own, but to witness. I don't need to shine to see the glow. I only need to remain open, and beauty will find me again. There was a moment at the edge of morning when the light touched the floor like a memory. You walked by without noticing it, but I stood still, watching it stretch. It wasn't loud, it didn't shine, just a soft reminder that beauty lingers. I saw it once in a coffee shop, a woman laughing into her sleeve, her friend listening, head tilted. The moment passed in a blink, but for a second everything felt held, like time had let its guard down. Sometimes it's a breeze through the curtains, a cat sitting where the sun lands, a page turned with gentle hands. No music, no spotlight, no name, but the kind of moment that feels like being understood. Beauty you almost miss in the space between words, and the look someone gives when they think no one sees, in a small kindness that goes unspoken. It drifts by like a leaf on water, and if you're not still, it slips away. His seat, then looked away as if it were nothing. No thank you, no applause, just a ripple of warmth in the noise. And I thought maybe that's what grace is, doing good with no witness. It never says look at me, just arrives and leaves a trace in a corner of your heart that opens quietly like a door you didn't know was closed until something soft passed through. Beauty you almost miss, like an old photo falling from a drawer, like breath fogging the window, like tears you don't notice until they've dried. It's never far, just never loud. You have to want to see it. And maybe that's why I pause more now. I've learned to walk slower, to let my eyes rest on the in-between, the cracks, the shadows, the soft edges where the stories don't get told, but still deserve to be seen. Beauty you almost miss, I hold it like a secret, not to hide but to honor, because it trusted me enough to be seen. And in those quiet moments, I remember who I wanna be.